thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Recorded live from western, northeast, South Dakota. This is the Massenomics Podcast. We are the lifting podcast about nothing, and my name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
This is episode 250, Tommy.
Woo. You know what that means?
You know what that means.
Halfway to 500.
Finally.
What we always said we were going to do, 500.
When we started out, we were like, I think we can hit 500.
If we don't get to 500, this project is a complete and total failure.
500, that would make us closing in on 10 years straight.
Oh, God.
Do you think that's possible?
I mean, it's possible. It's possible.
Do you think it's probable?
God, I don't know.
Do you think we can continue to podcast as long as we have now? Again, like, could we... that's the question. Go to 250 to 500.
Yeah,
Obviously,
can we do what we just did?
Yeah.
Actually, can we do what we just did after today?
Right.
We're not done yet.
That's true. All over again.
I think it's very possible, but yeah, is it doable? God, that is a good question.
If you ask me if I think it's going to happen, I don't know for what reason I would think it won't, but I would say no. Like, it's not going to go 5. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I guess I kind of picture like Massenomics could easily be a successful company 5 years from now. So I don't know why that would mean we wouldn't have a podcast, but it's just so long.
Well, and then the question is, okay, is it Massenomics is still podcasting 5 years from now, or we're hitting episode 500 5 years from now? Because, those don't have to go together.
Right. Yeah.
I guess people will just have to wait and find out.
Yeah. Unless you're
on next week's episode.
Well, unless you're 5 years.
Well,
unless it's the year 2026
right now,
and you just found out about the Massenomics podcast, and you're going through a backlog, and you just got to episode 250.
You're like, boy, those guys don't even know what's going to hit them in a year from now.
But what we're just saying right now, that is happening to people right now. They're listening to episode 4 from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That is actually happening.
Yep. We found out this past year that people did a lot of that, actually.
Right. They are listening to our 5 year in the past selves.
Those guys are so silly. They don't know anything about anything. They still don't know much.
Fast forward 5 years. Oh, it's the same.
They still don't know anything about anything.
They're still idiots.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
That's right.
We should probably read ads before we get too caught up reminiscing here, Tanner.
You are correct. Today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home to the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. Today's episode is also brought to you by SPUD Inc. The goal of SPUD Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. This episode is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training related, nutrition and body composition related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. We have a discount code with them. It's MASS, M-A-S-S in all caps, and that'll save you 5% off any training or nutrition memberships for the life of your membership at hybridperformancemethod.com. And this episode is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with. Do you think in 1980 Buddy Caps figured that in 2021 he'd be
that people would still be using barbells?
Yes. The greatest bar that he had ever seen and trained with? The Texas Power Bar. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more, visit them at Texas Power Bars in Ditkin.
Wow. Tanner, I just remember 2 things I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh, good.
First is, what are the chances that the winter season, we make the Massenomics weather filter update, that we have maybe the craziest weather we've ever had ever? And typically this time of year, we're giving people weather reports for like how we are living in the Arctic.
Right.
And it rained, I think, for the second time in
It was like
January
40
today.
degrees today.
Like, I don't know if it's rained in January maybe once in my whole life. And it's rained in January twice now.
You know, I was even just on the drive here, I was reflecting that I feel weird saying that I'm disappointed that it's been this way, but because of the weather updates on Instagram, I pictured a lot of like standing outside in a blizzard,
Like, not being able to see you?
Be like, yeah, here's the weather report. It's
and
terrible.
that's normally how it is.
Yeah, and people being like, oh my God, those guys live there?
Well, every
like,
year,
why?
Every year we have, it's like, that was kind of the
Yeah.
running gag. It's like, once this time of the year hit, it's like, oh, you know what's, Tanner, tomorrow, snowpocalypse is happening, and we haven't had any of that.
With the commute I have right now, it's very possible we could have struggled to record some of these in a normal year over this. You know, like it's like, well, I can't get there. It's like, you can't see 5 feet in front of your face.
Or if I go there, there's a good chance I won't be able to leave. And
For like 2 days,
and
maybe.
that's not a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
So we
Very
have been
mild.
very, very mild. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, it has been wild. So that's we have been slacking on the weather updates. Like,
Yeah, but that's why we just have nothing to share. Like our weather is pretty similar to, I think for the most part, what most people are seeing across the country right now.
people do. I have gotten good feedback on the Instagram weather updates live from Western, North, and South Dakota. I do a mix of just pictures and videos. I've done a few like selfie. I don't know what's
Just
talking to the camera. Giving updates.
So did you just say Western, Northeast, South Dakota? I did have to laugh because yesterday on the news they said Central, Northeast, South Dakota, and I'm like, it's
Taking a page out of the Massenomics book.
Yeah. And like the way it rolled off, like, and I didn't even think twice about it. And then like the only reason it even clicked in my head is because we're making a deal about it.
Yeah, right.
It's like
right.
Central, Northeast, South, and it's so funny that is just not even something that people batted on.
Right. It just seems normal to them.
Yeah. You know what other thing, Tanner, I was also reminiscing about is normally this time of year, we're getting pretty jacked to start getting ready for the Arnold. That's clearly not the case this year.
At this time last year, we were getting pretty
At
jacked.
this time last year, it was like, basically
in full tilt,
our entire life was going to be changed in a month.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought it was because we're going to the Arnold.
And it was our entire life. Yeah. Little did we know, our entire life really was about to be changed.
In ways we would have never predicted,
Yes.
but yeah, like it was like this time last year, we were like, oh, we're just a little over a month out. Like, oh, we got so many awesome ideas.
In place. Yeah. We got all this stuff lined up.
We got 2 shirts ready to go.
Remember in your garage here?
Yeah,
you probably had recently moved here then.
I'd lived here for half a year.
Okay. We were setting, we did
a trial run.
Display,
yeah, we built our display up.
Which good thing we did because we learned some things. We're like, oh, this doesn't actually lay out how we want to. We had to adjust some of the things we were going to utilize and stuff. And we're like, damn, we think we got this down now. We did this full dry run like we never have before.
The dress rehearsal.
Yeah, the dress rehearsal.
We had people come in and buy stuff from us off the street, all the neighborhood kids.
And we still have all that stuff and have not gotten to utilize any of it. Someday, I believe we'll get to go to a thing like that.
I think so.
So what do they say about the Arnold now? Last I heard is maybe it'll be in like August or September.
Yeah.
My mom even texted me this week and said, oh, I heard no Arnold this year. So
oh, she did?
Yeah. So
who the hell are you talking to?
Yeah. I'm like, I know. No. So, but that's the last I heard. I don't know, is maybe they would do it in August or September. Yeah. But then the thing it runs into is, well,
you can't do one in August and then do it in March.
Right.
I mean, you could, but it just seems like I don't know. Maybe people would be really, really jacked for that. Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like
people have got to make up for lost time so hard.
But
it would make more sense to split the difference a little bit.
This is a bigger question beyond the Arnold, but what will, say in August there is one, what will it be like? Will people be like, oh, I'm dying to go to something. Thank God there's something finally I'm going to go. Or will people be like, how many people are going to be like, yeah, I still don't want to go to stuff.
I think it depends on where people are at with not caring about COVID and also vaccine.
Yeah.
Because
the vaccine is like the,
I mean, if a lot of people have the vaccine and they're just like, doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
like I have friends that have gotten both doses now, or if they don't have the second one, they're very close, like any week now. And in theory, they should just be like, nothing matters anymore because I'm immune. I think that's how it's supposed to work. Seems like that's how vaccines are supposed to work, right?
Yeah, I mean,
feels like that's what we're being told.
Right.
So, I mean, if a lot of the country is on board with that thought process and does that, it seems like you should have a decent turnout, I guess. But
I hope so. I mean, we'll be at an event someday, somewhere. So it'll be nice. Hopefully that.
They'll just have to stay tuned for episode like 280 of the podcast, and we'll cover how that actually goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to find out what happens. They still have a decent chunk of our money that I'd like to know whether we're gonna get compensated for that. And
they've probably just been investing it in the market this whole time, Tanner.
They invested in Tesla and
watching some crazy swings.
And they're going to give it back to us with interest. Be like, we invested all in Tesla. Here's $30,000.
We did a little something behind everyone's back, but here it is. We hope you guys aren't too mad.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something, Tanner?
That would be something. Probably not going to happen. You know what else I was thinking about when I was reading the ads? And we've both done it occasionally, like get a little video for Instagram. I assume what you're doing.
Oh, that was just for my personal. I sent it to my family iMessage group.
Saved on your phone, like just to review later. Like, I just like to listen to you read the ads.
Like for someday when you're on a plane again and you're like really bored looking through stuff.
I'll be like, here's Tanner reading the ad.
So funny.
As if you couldn't just look it up on YouTube or any podcast.
Or any podcast app.
But what I was going to say is we're on camera all the time that we're recording. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so accustomed to that. But then when you pull out your phone, I'm like,
the spotlight's on me. Never mind the microphone in front of my face.
The microphone with thousands of people.
The camera listening. With the big old lens and like the monitors.
But when you pull out your phone, that's when I'm like, I hope I don't mess up now.
And the 3 lights, the pressure's on.
Isn't that kind of funny? A funny thought though.
It is.
I almost forget. All of this is just so old hat.
It's like it's not even there. Yeah,
right.
That is really funny, actually.
But I'm like, oh God, not a iPhone camera.
That thing away from me. Gotta change my clothes.
It's a funny thought.
It is.
Speaking of other funny thoughts, you're familiar with Nick Saban?
Yep.
Anyone that he has
real joker, isn't he?
Speaking of funny guys, anyone that he has recruited in his tenure as the head coach of Alabama that has played for at least 3 seasons has won a national championship. Anyone that he's ever recruited that at least stuck around for 3 years has won a national championship.
Yeah. So at this point, he can basically say, "I will guarantee you a championship."
The track record is yes.
You come here, you will be a part of a championship team. Yeah, that is quite the pedigree to have.
That is kind of a crazy fact, isn't it?
Yeah, that is impressive.
Not that we talk a lot of football on here.
Did you watch the game at all?
No.
Yeah,
I pretty much am so out. Like I've said this before. At one point in my time, actually for a majority of my life, I was so focused on sports as like, just like insane. Like I loved sports and like, especially football, particularly NFL, but also college football. I mean, just, it's a feeder for the NFL. So you couldn't be really interested in the NFL and not be at least,
at least paying attention.
Being like, I want to know who my team's going to draft. You know, like I need to know about these players and what they did in college and how, and all that. And now anymore, I don't know. I don't really.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's almost like when your TV show, like you missed 2 seasons and it's like, okay, some of the characters are still there.
That is honest.
It's like, I'm so far out of the storyline. I don't even know anymore.
Well, so I used to love fantasy football and I played in mini money leagues over like 15 years. I played in a lot of money leagues and I won some cool pots of I won $1,500 or a couple $1,000s a few different times, and that was fun, and I was addicted to it.
Are you low key bragging about your fantasy skills, Tanner? Because I think that's what people are picking up on right now.
Because I for sure lost more times than I won. I don't know if I gained money or lost money. But what I would say is I just couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah,
and I knew just like anyone that's into fantasy football, I know these players on other rosters that I should know who the 3rd string running back for Detroit is. Who cares?
But damn it, I do.
Yeah, right.
And it matters.
And at the time I did, and now we did flip on. It was the Saints were playing the Bears. Mm-hmm. My son wanted to watch it, and we watched a little bit. And I'm like, Drew Brees, and then I'm like,
Goes downhill pretty
Pretty
quick.
sure
from
Mitch
here.
Trubisky is the quarterback for the Bears, but I wouldn't be able to pick him out of a lineup. Like I'm just kind of like,
He's the guy that kind of looks
does
like he'd
Matt
be named
Forte
Mitch.
still play? Like, who else is? And then I know kind of knew the running back for the Saints. He's like
Tamara.
Yeah, he's really legit, and I kind of follow him. But for the most part, especially you go to like defensive players, and I'm like, who do not know these players?
Yeah.
And at one point in time, I would have been able to name like
All of them.
all the 11s, not the guards and tackles and center. Probably, maybe actually, if they're Pro Bowlers, I'd probably know the Pro Bowlers and not the rest. But now I'm like, don't know any of them. I know Drew Brees,
Yeah, remembering names, especially when it comes to athletes, has never been my strong suit or forte. But yeah, this year,
Forte.
Yeah, this year has been. I'm a Vikings fan.
Yeah.
And if they're playing good, great, I'll watch. It's fun. And if they're not playing good, it's like I don't need that. I don't need that downer on my Sunday.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, it was a pretty boring NFL year for me.
What's not a downer?
What?
Quenching your thirst.
Oh, baby.
Actually, we have to do
There's
this.
like a basket. There's like a pile of goodies over here.
We have to do some reverse order segment ordering here.
Okay.
We typically would do a what's in the can prior to Tanner's sack. Today they're kind of similar, so I think we have to pull out the sack before we get to what's in the can, the way that this is. And we have two sets of these. We have two sets of sacks and cans. One of them we're going to have to save for next week. There's just too much good stuff here.
Right.
So we have these two that came in. These came in on the same day. One from Canada, one from Scotland. Today we're going to see what's from Canada.
It's like Mr. Worldwide over here, Tanner. We're Pitbull up in here.
That's at home when the packages came in. It's like, what is all this cool stuff? And it's like, see, my wife,
this wasn't
you
for
said
nothing.
And you thought this wasn't going to pan out. And look, we're getting
Have you ever got a package in the mail from Scotland? Didn't think so.
Right. We are reaping rewards.
Where's
here.
Mary's Scottish package?
I don't see two LeBarons.
It's just like Freddie got fingered. I don't see Freddie's LeBaron.
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
A LeBaron.
The backwards man. What was I talking about? Okay. So we're going to do Canada first. So this is the worldwide sack segment. And so Scotland is going to have to wait for next week.
Okay.
I can't remember. I did read the card, but I'm just going to jog my memory if this is too personal or if it's something that I want. I don't think we're going to read the card on air.
Okay.
But I'll let you.
It's also funny that it's
very
personal enough.
Yeah, it is a very so this is from Kyle Hendricks.
Okay.
Is who the sack came from.
There's handwriting here.
Yes. No, he wrote us a note, but I think we'll probably leave the note amongst us. It was a very nice note that Kyle sent us, but he also probably explains what we're going to get in the sack here, so that's why I was conflicted on reading it or not.
I'm reading the note, which makes for terrible airtime, but
but I also can't. I should have read it.
I actually this didn't. Okay. He does make a note here. He says there's no maple in this water, which I'm assuming he's probably referencing back to the maple waters we got.
For sure.
My parents were at my house this past weekend, and my mom goes into the fridge and goes, "Oh, what's this?" And it was one of those maple beverages.
Yeah,
and I go, "They're terrible."
Yeah.
She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Look, read the thing."
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was
try
like
it?
raspberry maple. And she goes, "It can't be that bad." And I hear it crack. I hear, "Oh, that's bad." Dumped down the sink and it was in the garbage immediately.
Okay. So this is from Kyle Hendricks, sponsored Massenomics athlete, sponsored lifter. He power lifts. He's out of Canada. We make a lot of Canada jokes.
President of Ontario, as some may know.
He is the president of Ontario.
I like the wood tie in here.
So Big Kyle is a arborist. I don't know what the correct term is.
Arboreum, I think.
He does
is the
stuff
word.
to trees.
Yeah, he does
like
stuff
not
to trees.
sexually that I know of, but like he does normal things to trees that people would do to trees. That ties in because for what's in the sack, Tommy, we got something very cool in the sack.
Now it is so. It's like I feel like I've seen these on TV. You know?
Yeah.
Oh man, these do have a finish on them.
Yeah, these are so cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I always see on Kyle's Instagram, he's always chopping down wood and just finishing
These
it.
smell good.
And these almost look like they're manufactured because they're finished.
Yeah, he didn't say what kind of wood this is, did he?
wood. Brown wood.
This is wood from trees. This is tree wood. Because yours looks different than mine.
Yeah, they do. Oh, yeah.
Yours has yours. But they were specifically named. So
it is crazy. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yours is a lot lighter too.
Yeah. Wow.
But he named them this is for you. He must have. He must have been like, Tommy likes the
well, I was going to say,
he knows what goes with your decor.
I was going to say, my wife, I do like both of these. So, yeah, my wife, she will like this color more than your color, Tanner. So yeah, Kyle picked him good.
Not only is he an arborist, he's an interior decorator.
And master of feng shui.
We move into a new home next week. Yeah. I think this is going to go great with our flooring.
Yeah.
So Kyle knew what he was doing.
He kind of knows what's up with wood.
My wife was pretty excited about these though. Like and especially like that this is a backstory. Like, this is our friend from Canada. I'm going to tell people this is old growth Canadian lumber.
There you go.
Original. Yeah. Like,
I mean, we don't have enough facts to dispute that. So we're going to have to go with it.
And this brings us to our can segment, which also we get to utilize the sack segment with the coasters, because he makes note of us not having coasters on our end tables here.
He's right.
Although I'm going to take mine home with me because I want all four. It's a set,
you need four,
All right. So he provided us.
Oh, this is a true what's in the can.
This is what's in the can for both of us.
So we have a can wrapped in paper so we can't see it. Simply, we just have the number 1 on this can.
So this is also what we have, Tommy. So I don't know. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna just play one of these?
I think we just play one together.
So we'll come back to this one in a couple weeks.
Because I'll say tangerine and you'll say mango Tanner, and it'll be a mango tangerine.
Yes,
we'll get it right together.
So we'll save number 2 for a future episode.
Yeah. Who does number 2 work for? Right?
How many good references, great -- movie references, can we fit into this this segment?
Tanner, what if I told you there was more than one can? That's a really bad Matrix.
Yeah. I got it though.
Wow. Okay. All right. So so we have the can
number 1,
simply titled number 1 at the moment with paper over it.
All right.
Let's go in.
Oh,
there is fizz.
And he assured us this is not maple water.
There is a smell. Picking up fruit essences, Tanner. Picking
up nodes. There's certain special. I almost smell like licoricey. Does it taste licoricey?
I don't know. Maybe is that cherry?
Oh, that's cherry.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is. It's good.
Mm-hmm. That is refreshing. It is fizzy.
To be honest, I didn't chill these. Just thinking about this now, but
still fairly cold.
It was in my pickup.
God, that seems like that's cherry, doesn't it?
That's cherry for sure. The question is it cherry something? So we're saying it's a sparkling water, cherry flavored. We know that much. I don't recognize what I can.
I mean, the can is white from all I can see. Should we take a closer look here?
Yeah, we better.
Okay, what do we got? We have.
Let's look at yours.
President's Choice.
President's
Choice. Vanilla cherry soda.
Vanilla.
Carbonated water with natural flavors. Of course, there's another flavor in there, Tanner. Okay.
Where does yours say? Yours says President's Choice?
Isn't that what that says right there?
Oh, yeah. But what's this?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
This is French. Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, the other side's French. Okay. I was going to say, why is the label different? La Choy, President's Choice. I'm sure that's how they say it, too. La Croix, Tanner.
Yeah.
Wow, we're getting all educated here.
Yeah.
That is indeed ingredients: carbonated water, natural flavor. That's it.
This is French, you would assume, right?
French Canadian. Oh, just wait. Here we go. That's me setting my can on the coaster.
Let me see if the coasters are. These coasters are defective. There's a ring going right through this.
Awesome. Damn, this is a great segment, Tanner.
I'm pumped about the coasters. Mm-hmm. We've been getting such cool stuff in our sack segment. And I'm not going to spoil any more surprises here, but what's behind
door number
package
2?
number 2 from Scotland is also going to be
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
I looked at some stuff. There is also like a secret can in there too.
Oh boy.
I'm not going to say anymore because it's
beverages from Scotland.
Yeah.
Is it Aberdeen, Scotland? Do you know, or is it just?
It is. Sorry, yes, Aberdeen, Scotland.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
The superior Aberdeen, as they've been saying,
as they think, they like the original, as they think.
We'll decide after we.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Aberdeen, South Dakota, was founded before Aberdeen, Scotland.
I'm sure. I mean,
it's probably in the history book somewhere.
Yeah. All right. So that's our can. That's our sack segment. Do we have time for more? How long have we been going? Oh, okay. Here's something I got for you.
Oh, are we talking records now, Tanner?
No. Yes. Not
the collection looks like it's been growing.
Not that kind of record. Though.
Lifting records.
What if we had just came to me right now? What if there was a segment where it's like records and records, where we talk about
there we go
a record and
records
and a record.
Yeah.
So that's this segment, records and records. I've covered the vinyl records for the last couple episodes without this, so that you've already covered that part of the segment. But the segment, do you know who has the largest powerlifting total in the world? And do you know how much it is?
It's not Dan Bell anymore.
Okay,
right?
That's what I was going to ask if you know that.
Is that Peter Petrus?
It's Peter Petrus, and it's like 25.50 something.
Yeah, and what was Dan's?
25.18, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Just interesting that like people...
Like that total doesn't even matter to people anymore.
Well, right. I mean, like what I don't hear people talking about it almost.
I think one. God,
is it sketchy in some? Was it?
Well, I just feel like because it's like a European one, and so it's like it's like not in the American Instagram world.
Right.
So like because of that, it just.
But if like missed. Andrei Milanichev did it, it would be.
Yeah, but I also feel like he had a different.
Yeah, he
like
did
aura to him of. And probably, honestly, because he got more Americanized. Well, I think it was two things. He was Russian, so he has the Russian lifter thing. And then also he was on Animal, so he kind of had that tie-in with some promotion in America.
Yep. Well, what did you give this?
Oh, yeah, that's good. I think cherry is one of my favorite flavors for sparkling water. I think I'd give it a 4 JD Powers.
This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. I would give it a 4. I would lean towards a 4.5. I really like this one.
Yeah. Quite delightful.
Yeah. All the ingredient, everything is also written in French.
Mm-hmm.
That is a weird. That is a foreign concept to me. That it's like, we have to have English and French.
Yeah,
I mean, it's always you always see English and Spanish on everything, and it's like, no, we need English and French.
French is not something that's not on many things around here.
No, sorry, I'd get us off track there. Good beverage though.
Yeah,
I just thought it was weird that people aren't really talking about it.
It is kind of weird that it just gets. And I don't know if it's just because there's not like hardly any meets going on, so people are just like, we don't care about powerlifting right now.
Right.
Like,
is it also because we're like, we're all Dan Bell fans, so we're going to pretend like that didn't really happen until Dan breaks it back?
I didn't see any videos of it. I'm sure there is.
Someone
a video,
did send me some,
but I didn't see any popular pages posting anything about it.
No.
Usually there's several pages that will say something about it.
Right.
But I didn't run across a single video on Instagram with the pages I follow.
We're not going to celebrate it. We're just going to wait until Dan breaks it back and be like, we'll talk about that one some more.
Yeah, what did he have just the other day? It wasn't like 1,000 and something for
1,030 for a double, I think. Yeah, pretty wild stuff. That's
so
heavy.
you take him, you double him for just one, right? So he should be able to squat like
2,060. Yeah, I would think that's about right where he's sitting now.
That's how they calculate that. So.
Yes, that's how the 1RM calculator works on bodybuilding.com.
Do you think Dan uses that when he's trying to figure out what to go for?
I assume that's how he's gotten this far. I mean,
oh God, I hope the convention hall has good cell phone service because I got to get on bodybuilding.com and
check my 1RM.
check my 1RM before I go max out today. I'd like to think that's how that works.
He does benches 315 for a set of 10 and says, mark it down at 500. It's what the calculator says.
Come on.
225 by 10 says 315, so I can do it.
Yep. You don't need to waste your time loading all that weight on when you can just
I did live in a world that many years ago where I would hear people say that sort of thing, like, no, I did 225 for 10, so that means I can do 315.
Yeah.
Which seems wild to me now, but that's
you wouldn't actually just find out.
I existed in a time and place where that's what people did and said.
Yeah. Simpler times. Tanner.
Yeah. Yes.
Should we read some ads?
Yeah, let's do it. And then we will get our guest on the horn, which up to this point, other than by reading the title, you wouldn't know who it is.
Here we go. The Massenomics podcast is brought to you by SPUD Inc. and the Lat Saw with cable handles. The SPUD Inc. Lat Saw is a new level of back mutilation. This medieval-looking torture device is designed to work your lats at every possible angle, letting you get the most out of the econo-tricep and lat pulley or low pulley system at your home gym. Use the included deluxe cable handles to move from wide to narrow grip instantly. The Lat Saw includes one pair of deluxe cable handles, and you can check it out online at spud-inc-straps.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS, in all caps, that's MASS, for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Since 2004, Lifting Large has been providing the lifters across the world with powerlifting gear from Titan Support Systems. Lifting Large has the largest in-stock supply on Titan wrist and knee wraps in the world. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and always ready to ship. They also have ER combo racks in stock and ready to ship too. You know, they do say that the ER combo rack is like the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper of combo racks.
Combo racks, yes.
I think they've been using that as a marketing line in Sweden or wherever they make those.
If they're not, they certainly should be.
Yeah, we'll give them that one. They are the only powerlifting supplier with live chat support available during the weekdays. You can get email replies to questions in hours, not days. And they are now accepting Amazon Pay and Stripe for a quick and simple checkout. Once your checkout is complete, your order will ship fast with same-day shipping on most products. Massenomics customers can use code MASS20, that's MASS20, to get 20% off Lifting Large branded products and also receive an additional 50 rewards points added to your Lifting Large account. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's at liftinglarge.com. Thank you to our sponsors.
Thank you, sponsors. Now it's time for our guest. We're going to call Grant, owner of The Strength Co. We featured his plates on our last episode, or 45-pound plates.
As seen on episode 249 of the Massenomics podcast.
As seen on 249, and now we're about to find out more about it.
Here we go. Like how many pounds a 45-pound plate weighs?
That's what I want to know how many.
Massenomics.
Grant, Big Grant. We found you. Is that right?
You got me. You found me in California.
All right, Grant, you're live on the show with Tanner and Tommy. We're excited to have you on.
What's up, Grant?
Glad to be here, man. Good to talk to you both.
Excellent. So we were just saying last week we busted out the 45-pound Strength Co plates. Those look super cool. We'll probably want to talk about those and what you're doing with those quite a bit. But I guess first, how do you say your last name?
Well, it was Broggi for a long time. That's how the Italians would say it. And then my Italian grandfather moved to Boston as a eye doctor and said that Irish people couldn't figure it out, so he switched it to Broggi. So to this day, we say Broggi.
Okay.
But Rip, and over at Starting Strength, we'll call it Broggi.
Okay.
He's a little more cultured than your average person.
Yeah, he's a little more cultured than your average person. You know, he cares about traditions.
Yeah. What did you say? You said your grandfather was your grandfather, the first generation.
No, my great grandfather actually from Italy. Yeah, but my grandfather, you know, dealt with the abuse.
Yeah. Yep. Gotcha. Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit about the Strength Co. and what all you got going on over there. We know some of it, but I don't know. Some of it's probably even a learning experience for us right now.
Yeah. So in general forms, kind of started strength training. I mean, strength trained in high school, college, you know, like your average guy. And then when I joined the Marine Corps, kind of as an artillery officer, you know, had guys that had to lift 100-pound artillery shells, and was looking for a way to make it seem doable. And so kind of stumbled across Starting Strength early in around 2008 or 2009 or so, and kind of like that. And then as I became a Marine officer, started coaching guys. And then during my career, you know, became a Starting Strength coach and started coaching people out of the garage. And next thing I knew, I had a gym kind of all by accident. And then, you know, as things progressed in the last 12 months, now we make equipment. So it's been a wild ride for sure.
That is a wild ride. There's a lot of things. The one thing I'd note right away, I was also a artillery man, but I was in the Army.
Yeah, good.
So
13 Bravo, right?
13 Mike actually. So it's
13 Mike. Okay.
MLRS. I don't know are you familiar with that then also?
Yeah. So I not to geek out and make it a military pod, but I for my first gig was with HIMARS, which is you guys do a tracked version, 2 pods. We do a wheeled version. So yeah. Very familiar.
Awesome. Good stuff. Yeah. So you how long have you had the gym going then? Did you say that there? What year did that?
No, I didn't.
Then?
So 2016 opened in the garage. 2017, July 2017 opened the first location in Costa Mesa. First brick and mortar spot. It kind of got to the point where, hey, I got a lot of people coming through here. I'm part-time. I'm still active duty, but maybe we can make something work. And that's when we opened the first one, middle of 2017.
And so now how many locations do you have?
We have 2 locations, both here in Orange County, California. And so we opened the first one summer 2017, then early 2019 opened December 2018 opened the second one. And kind of to see like, hey, can we do multiple locations? Can we make this thing scale? And thought we could, and things were going great. And then, a year called 2020 landed.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
we remember that year.
Yeah, you're weird. I can't believe you guys remember that.
Yeah, I think I was there for that.
So are your doors open now, or what are things like?
Yeah, so we're open now. We'll probably get into a little more of this as we go on, but as things currently sit, I'm open at both locations, Costa Mesa and Villa Park, and have a decent amount of people coming in. I mean, COVID it's hitting people in California right now. You know, I think if we were to say in 2020, you know, it was like, hey, do you know anyone that has COVID? And now it's like, yeah, I know a whole bunch of people that have it. But we're open at both locations. For what you can expect for the current times, things are okay.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
And so you guys have been is it from day one? Have you guys been a Starting Strength affiliate?
Yeah. So when I started the gyms, Starting Strength franchise gyms didn't exist. And so, I emailed Rip and said, hey, I'm looking to start a gym. I'd like you to be an affiliate. And, he was like, oh, you're going to have bare steel bars and this and that. And he's like, you should name an Orange County strength and conditioning, because everyone that does strength and conditioning does well. And I say that in jest. Rip's been a huge help. But we've been an affiliate gym from day one. And that's what we do. We teach the Starting Strength method at both our locations. And, we're passionate about getting people strong, and we think it's a real effective way to do it. And our average clientele, as I watch you guys and I've followed you guys over the last year or so, we're not the powerlifting crowd.
Right.
We're the, hey, my dad has back problems crowd, or, hey, I'm a young kid and I'm really small. I want to get stronger. And so that's kind of like our passion is there's a lot of people that can figure this out on their own. And there's a lot of people that have no idea how to figure it out on their own. And that's who we're trying to help.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I read the Blue Book a few times, and we've gotten the opportunity to be on Rip's podcast also, and you have actually. That's kind of where I first my first exposure to you, and finding out about the plates that you were getting made and all that was through there. And that's, I think, where some people get it a little twisted sometimes, is you're looking at maybe a power lifter that's squatting 700 pounds and deadlifting 800 pounds and benching 500 pounds. Is novice linear progression the appropriate method for them? No, but also that's not starting strength's goal. That's not who it's, just like what you said, it's not who it's catered and or marketed to.
Yeah, I think it's a couple different mediums. It's like, and because Rip is big in the strength world, people confuse it like his way is the only way and all this stuff. And it's like, I just view it as like, no, the starting strength method is trying to get the general person that's atrophying better. And all the other methods are great as well, but a lot of them are focused on making a strong person really strong.
Right.
And so it's just a different approach. Yeah, I agree.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Quite honestly, the thing I'm most excited to talk to you about is the equipment, because I personally just love gym equipment. We have Massenomics Gym, which is our it's public gym, kind of a club gym, whatever you want to call it, that we've got here. And you did send us the pair of 45s. Like I said, I remember listening to you on Starting Strength. I think at the time, I don't think you had anything out to market yet, but you were working on that. Can you talk about that process of, you now have plates that you can sell. You've made it all the way through the process. I'm sure there was a lot of testing going on. Where do you get them made? How do you get them made?
Well, and even before that, even before that, like what went through your mind that was like, you know what, we should make plates. Like, how did that idea even come to exist? Because to me, like, we sell a decent amount of stuff, but the idea of like, all right, we're going to make plates. That seems like, that is a bridge too far, Tanner. Like that it will never, ever in a million years happen.
A bridge too far. I don't know if you did your homework and know that that's a classic military movie, or if you just happen to say that. But
I did know it was a military movie. I didn't throw that in there on purpose. But
we won't tell anyone that.
We won't tell anyone. Yeah, we won't tell anyone how much research you guys did. So I think for me it came down to. I'll try and get you the Cliff Notes version, but when the gyms closed in California. As a business owner, I thought, okay, this is my livelihood. I got out of the Marine Corps in November of 2019, so we're just kind of going to full swing. We were looking to open a third location. Things were going well. And then we get ordered for the gyms to close. And at the time, early last year, we didn't know what this whole thing was or how, deadly it was or whatever. Your thoughts on COVID are irrelevant, but didn't know what was going to happen. And so my thought in terms of keeping the business alive was, hey, what am I? I'm a high value, high touch, high cost, coaching business. And the people that pay will continue to pay if I continue to provide them value. And so, we closed March 16th and March 17th, we unbolted every rack and took every, York weight and every barbell out of the gym and delivered them to people's homes. And part of it was twofold. One, it was I thought that, hey, if the world's really going to shut down right now, I think you guys would agree with me on this, that lifting's important to people. It's important for their health. It's important for their strength. It's important for their mental sanity. I need to give them an outlet. Right. Yeah. And then two, it was also a business move of, hey, if I don't do anything, I'm going to be closed. Because everyone's going to quit. Because I get it. I have a car payment and I now no longer get to drive the car. I'm not paying this anymore. And so it was kind of a twofold move to do that. And as we started moving stuff out, the biggest thing we started to run into issues was plates. I was buying out warehouses of used equipment and trying to outfit members. And then when it came down to it, we started building squat racks, and we'll probably talk about that. We started building stuff, but the thing that I couldn't make was plates, which is the biggest thing. And so I originally, to answer your question, I thought, okay, I need to make plates, because everything else, it seems like there's an availability of source, but plates seem to be the problem. Mm-hmm. And there was one point where there was a guy who had come to the gym for a few months, a guy from China, and he reached out when he saw us making racks, and he said, hey, look, we can make you plates, this, that, like we can get into the Port of Long Beach. And I thought about it, but I just thought, and during this time I'm getting emails from members, hey, I lost my job, this, that, and whatever. And that's where Made in USA kind of became it's something I've always wanted, but kind of I noticed like, hey, if you don't do it here, like a lot of people suffer. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of when we started calling foundries and saying like, hey, we should probably make some plates, because the shortage and the imports, who knows what the future is.
Wow. Okay. And so you start so what does that process look like then, once you're trying to like scope out someone that can actually do this stuff?
Yeah. So we had started making, squat racks and stuff, and had found local steel suppliers. And I went to a foundry right here in Costa Mesa, California. And I walked in, and at that point we'd had a nice piece done by us by the LA Times that had, talked about kind of like giving equipment away. And that's what first generated a lot of demand. And I remember going to the local foundry, and I kind of used that as what I thought would be credibility, and saying like, hey, like this is what we're doing. We're making these things, like we're looking to make plates. And the guy laughed at me and said, you want us to make exercise equipment? And it's a pretty well-known foundry here. And I said, well, yeah, I think there's a huge demand. Mm-hmm. I'd like to do it right here local. And he said, yeah, we're not interested.
Why would he not be interested? Isn't business to them?
So I would think so. I mean, this is early on, right? We were moving quick. This is end of April. And I just think, I think a lot of people didn't know what was going to happen. And so I left, and I remember being a little bit discouraged, and I actually called Rip, and I said, hey, I'm looking to make plates. This is what I think I want to make. What do you recommend? And he gave me some ideas, and I got connected with someone in Georgia. I'm from South Carolina originally, so I got connected to someone in Georgia, and they responded to me, and I sent them all the dimensions. We actually mailed plate from Rip's gym to Georgia, broken like old York back, 45 milled plate to Georgia. The guy did the whole quote process, came back, and to me, it was over $2 a pound, right? To me, before shipping, before any of that. And I was like, man, this doesn't work. And so I started at that point really investigating like, okay, what is it? Like, where's the cost at? And at that point, I realized there's something between horizontal casting and vertical casting. And I realized that vertical casting was a lot more efficient and could get cost down. And so I continued to search, and I was looking up all these places.
So with just that detail, is that something like, does not every foundry do vertical casting then?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of places in America, in particular, do horizontal casting.
So is it one of those things, just the amount of room that it takes up laying flat? Is that like where the efficiency?
It's just that, think of it like a brake rotor, right? Like if you could think of a brake rotor, it's like it stands upright. It's roughly, 15 inches tall. It's very thin, and like very few people make those. And the people that do make them for the big automotive makers. And everyone else makes, other train parts and different things. So like here in the US, because most foundries moved out in like the 80s or 70s even, it just came down to like, what does the American consumer want? And most people needed things that were like bigger, longer, wider. And so vertical didn't make sense. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And like, I don't know that everyone will understand that, but it just comes down to like the way the world has shaken out over the last 3 decades, that most things are imported, and the things that we do make here are particularly for like American products. And as a result, most foundries, and I mean, I'm not a foundry expert, although I probably know more than the average person, but most things are done horizontally. So as I did research, I realized like, hey, if you want to make a 17.75 inch thing upright that's an inch 0.25 wide, you need to vertically cast it for it to be efficient. And so I just started going to random foundries and filling out the contact forms. Like, I tried to call, no one would answer. And I ended up getting a Wapaka foundry, which is like actually ends up being the largest American foundry. And no kidding, I just filled out the like, my first name is Grant. My last name is Broggi. This is my email. This is my phone number. And then it's like message. And I'm like, hello, I am in California. We're making gym equipment. I sent a couple news articles to like try and provide some validity, and said, I want to make plates. And I submitted it. And when I submitted it that day, I never thought in a million years anyone would call me back. But the very next day, I get a call. He's like, hey, this is Kevin from Wapaka.
So where's Wapaka?
It's in Wisconsin. Okay. You couldn't tell from my accent?
Yeah, no. Well, we recognize it decently from South Dakota.
It sounded like someone that was trying to be an imposter to our region.
Yeah, it sounded like someone that wasn't from South Carolina living in California. I get it. And so he took me seriously. And honestly, I couldn't believe it because of like the experience that I'd had here in person in California. And I said, yeah, this is what we're doing. And he said, well, do you have CAD drawings? And so during all this time, we'd been, making Home Depot squat buckets. Then we started welding. And this was all my Marine buddies, guys that were actually engineers and kind of helping me out. And I remember being on the phone and looking over, we're in my gym that's now empty, that we were pouring concrete out of to make Home Depot buckets. Yep. And I looked over at my buddy Andy and I said, do you know CAD? and he starts shaking his head and gives me 2 thumbs up. And I said, yeah, we can get you a CAD drawing. Yeah. And they said, okay, great. Like, send us the stuff and we'll give you a quote. And I hung up and I was like, hey, dude, like, they want to do it. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, do you actually know CAD? And he was an engineer that had previously worked for NASA. He's a reservist with me now. The reason he was in California was we were supposed to go do a Marine exercise. They got canceled because of COVID. So he ended up living in my house. And I said, look, dude, here's the specs. This is what I want to do. Like, let's get a drawing over to him. And so he drew it up on CAD and we sent it over and they sent us a quote back. And with the vertical casting, I said, oh, this is like legitimate. Like, we could actually, like, the difference between horizontal versus vertical was astronomical and still high because at the time in, early 2020, even when people were experiencing high cost of plates, it was much lower than it was now. And we'll talk more about steel and ore and what they're doing right now. But like, people have always viewed this per pound and like, what does it cost per pound? And while that's kind of fair, it depends, like, what am I buying? Like it depends what's being done to it. But yeah, so we got the design over to them and they said, it'll be about 8 weeks. And this is early April. And I think you probably saw me at Rip's podcast in May. And man, a ton has happened since now and then.
Yeah. So how many times, like, did you have to make trips out to Wisconsin then, or could you do this all remotely with them, or?
No. So we started doing it remote. I had the design, what we wanted was a couple things. One, we wanted the 45s to be the correct diameter. We didn't want deep dish. We wanted a thinner plate, but we wanted you guys have seen Coop from Garage Gym, and you've seen Rip's videos about like the lip, right? We wanted that.
Yep.
And so we wanted to be able to handle the weights. And this wasn't just from those guys. It was from, I'm a barbell coach, and I've seen in the gym, like, weights that are easy to handle and weights that are a pain. Yep. And so we set over the designs, we did it. And so there's something in foundry talk called tooling, which means you create something that creates the mold that creates the product. And so just to get going with a 45, a 25, a 10, a 5, and a 2.5, just to get the tooling going before you've made a single plate, it's $50,000.
Yeah.
And right. And so, and this is during a time where, like, what is the email I get every morning when I wake up? Hey, Grant, I really love the gym, but
I gotta cancel.
Due to COVID concerns, I gotta cancel. Right.
Yeah.
So, like, you see revenue going down the tanks. I got 8 employees, and you're trying to launch this other thing, and you're pouring concrete into Home Depot buckets, knowing that, like, maybe this helps right now, but it's not the future. Like, the end of the world is not going to end up with people squatting off a Home Depot bucket.
Right.
And so, you're trying to decide. And so I say, okay. And, I take all the savings I have, and I say, we're going to do this. And I throw it towards the tooling. And they make the tooling. And so, like, in this kind of thing, and it's also weird for Wapaka because they're a gigantic company. They deal with Ford, Dodge, GM, John Deere, and I guess the Strength Co. Right? And so, like,
put that on the list.
Yeah. We made it, but they're not used to, like, dealing with, like, some smaller consumer, but
like people care about the price of people that care about the price of things that they're purchasing. And
right. I mean, the biggest thing my salesman has told me over the past 12 months has been like, hey, when most people call and yell at me, I think, oh, their salary is based off of they call and yell at me. Yeah. When you call and yell at me, I can feel that, like, if this doesn't work,
there's problems. Yes, right.
Yeah. So we send them everything, and they go through the sampling process. And this was to answer Tanner's question. When I first went out to Wisconsin was when they were going to pour the samples. And so I go out there and I tell them, hey, look, let me film, let me do stuff. And they're like, no. What we do is proprietary.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, this is what people want to see. Like,
for sure.
If we're going to make a premium product, they want to see Americans working, iron getting poured out of that thing into a mold. And so they wouldn't let me film it. So I go in there and they make the first 45s. And I remember grabbing them and just being like, oh, man, we totally screwed this up. The lip was way too fat. Like, everything was wrong. And I was like, gym cancellations are coming through at the cyclic rate. And I've invested all my savings, and, like, I'm not happy with this thing. Now, to the average consumer, they probably wouldn't notice. But in my mind, the lip face, as you call it, was just way too fat. And so I say, hey, I want to change this from the 45 and the 25. And so I go back to the engineers, and, they're doing stuff, and we go to actually get it going. They say, hey, we can retool this in about 2 weeks. So I said, okay, great. We want it to weigh 45 pounds. We're trying to care about the accuracy, all that stuff. And then I remember they retool it, and they're like, hey, we're ready for production. I'm like, great. And then an email hits my inbox that I owe them $20,000.
Oof.
And I'm like,
damn.
I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, to retool this wasn't free. And it's just the difference and I don't blame them for all of it, but it's just the difference between they're used to working with Ford, GM, and Dodge.
Yeah, right. That are putting in orders for millions and millions of pieces.
To GM, the person making those decisions, $20,000 is an afterthought. That's not
talking
relevant.
about it costs more.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't mean anything, right? It doesn't mean anything. So I ate that one, right? And I'm like, man, like, what's going to happen? And so then we went into production. Well, we didn't go into production yet. We went into the production of samples. And at the time, and I'll say it till I die. There's no one I love more than Mark Ripito, but he told me to go raw iron. He's like, raw iron, it'll blue with the lifter, Grant.
Yep. I've heard him speak about that many times. Yeah.
You've heard him speak about it, right?
Yep.
And he's entitled to that. This is America. But I get a sample of 45s. So I go back to Wisconsin. I get a sample of 45s. And I remember looking at them, the new design lip, and I go to grab them. They said, no, put gloves on. And I was like, gloves? And they're like, oh, no, if you touch that, it'll rust. And I go, no, it won't rust. Like, it's raw iron. It'll patina with me as I age. As I get stronger, so will the plate. Yeah. And they were like, oh, no, it's definitely going to rust. So I grabbed it bare hands. I played with it. I took photos. And that was the point where I noticed, like, oh, there's sharp edges on here. I need to add a chamfer on the edge, right? Like, there's so many things. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Last March, what did I know about plates? Nothing. I mean, I knew a little bit because I'm a barbell coach, but I didn't know how to make them. Right. And I realized, like, oh, that's sharp. That shouldn't be like that. And so, so at that point I said, hey, I want a chamfer. I don't want it to have the sharp edge, all that stuff. And I remember they said, okay, we'll make those changes to the design, whatever. And the plant manager, who's been there for like 40 years, getting ready to retire. Her name's Mary. They let me stay at her house when I come. Like, awesome lady. Like, the story is like full on Americana. They were like, oh man, like some Marine vet from California is trying to make something in USA. Like, yeah, it was beautiful. And so she said, hey, my local gym guy will probably take these. And I said, oh, no. I'm taking these 45s home because I want to remember the ass pain that this was to make them. And so I went to the local FedEx and shipped them home. I say all that to say they're in my office right now, and they're covered in rust. Yeah, covered. Yeah. Like the whole things are covered in rust. And you
mean it doesn't just have a fine blue to it that's aged with
I mean, the blue is coming. I assume when I turn 40, it'll be there. It's just going to take a few more years. And so, so the automotive industry, which is what Wapaka is, that's who they primarily service. They said, you should do a clear coat. And I get their clear coat specialists on the line. They're telling me why it's great. I said, boom, let's do a clear coat. Yep. And I told them I wanted it to look like iron. That's what I told them. So they send me some samples. And man, I've never felt dumber in my life than this time. They send me a sample of 45s. They're beautiful. And you can go back and see it on Instagram because I left it. And we actually made a video about it. It's on YouTube. And I look at the 45s, and they have a clear coat finish. I pull them out of the box, and it's the greatest thing. I'm texting Mary, the plant manager. I'm texting my salesperson. This is the greatest. I'm looking at them. They look like iron, except they're coated, right? It's a beautiful thing. I bring my camera guy in. We film a video of why clear coat is the best. Everything's great. And this is just dumbness on my part. And my camera guy leaves, and I go, I'm going to deadlift for these things. I throw them on the bar. I do a set of deadlifts, and guess what happens? They start chipping and peeling. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And so, I call, I got back, hey, all those texts I sent you, I was lying. This is terrible. and I mean, but this is the thing, you can make something and get it out to someone, but for me, I think for me as a barbell coach, it was like I was thinking about the end user, and I just thought, this is bad. This is bad. This is going to chip. And I wasn't even thinking, we don't even need to talk about online retail and customer service, but I wasn't even thinking about the complaints I'd get. And you guys understand that. You guys ship stuff. I was just thinking, if I was the user, this isn't how I'd wanted to act.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you go back to the drawing board. And at this point, this is like July, I'd already taken pre-orders. Because I'd already given all my money up. I had to start getting some revenue coming in. And so on my website for a month has said hey, it's going to be clear coated. And then I get clear coat and it's total shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, So we went back and they came back with an E-coat finish. And they said, we think he should E-code. And in their defense, they got it through E-code real quick. They overnighted it to me. And I got it. And as much as I love Rip, and he's right about chili and hamburger steak, man, if you're in the online retail business, E-Coat's the way to go. You can't screw it up.
Yeah. And that's what they are today. They're black. I mean, would you call it black e-coating then?
Yeah, black e-coat. So then that's, it's just interesting. So then they send me black e-coat, and it's great, right? And I'd actually gone to Wisconsin. They sent me their e-coat facility, and I put my hands on some kettlebells that make their e-coat, and I kicked it around and I banged it against something, and I could tell it was good. And I thought, oh, this is it. And at that point, I had learned, like, hey, before you tell someone that this is what you're going to make, you need to test it. And I said, okay, E-Coat's, what it is. And then I said, hey, but what about color? Because I'd like it to look like iron. And they're like, well, think of it like healthcare, right? There's in-network and out-of-network. And this is the largest foundry in America. They're like, if you want a different color, you can get a different color. This is what the cost is going to be. And I was like, oh, no, I'm really cool with black. Yeah, great color. Great color. And so, and I think they look great. Like, I think they look great.
We gave him the unofficial award for best looking plates in the Massenomics gym. So
I don't know if you maybe haven't seen it yet. We did talk about it last week, and I love them. They are so cool. They have it's the four, I guess you don't know if you call it 4-spoke look to the plate, but it just has a very classic, cool look to them. They are tastefully done, not overly designed, but there was still, you can tell some thought that went into the design. So yeah, we're all on board with it.
Good. It was function. I mean, it was function that was the thing, and it's kind of like, as all the stuff we've made, I viewed this for if I was a barbell coach coaching someone to get stronger, because that's like, I mean, to be honest with you, the barbell coaching business isn't great right now in the state of California. It's not too hot, right? And the manufacturing business is better. But like to this day, I view myself as someone that cares about people getting stronger. And that's kind of what I put into all the stuff we made, from the racks, the bars, the plates. It's hey, what is the end user experiencing? And it's a weird thing in the home gym community, because most people don't actually care. They just want weights. They just want this. They just want that. And I just thought, maybe it's the Southerner in me, but like when my grandfather hands me a Bowie knife and he's like, I got this when I was this many years old, I'm like, whoa, and it's still here, right? I mean, and that's kind of the approach we kind of took in designing stuff. And that's why, like, I mean, the number one negative review we get is it's too expensive. And I tell people all the time, hey, you want something else? Go buy something else. Like, you don't, like, we definitely, in my opinion, are producing a high-end product that costs more. And I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. So you came out with we went through the process of it and everything there, and at the end of the day, you got really cool plates. What I was kind of wondering is the supply or the raw materials. Like, can you get as many plates as you want to get right now? Or if assuming you can't, what's that process like? Like, how long do you got to wait? I mean, how long is it going to be that way? And you mentioned before price of raw materials. How does that fit in too?
Yeah. So, I mean, just to be raw and open about it. So, I talk about, kind of putting my savings into it and saying, hey, I'm going to go for this. And so we get the tooling done and we get ready for the first production run. And at the time, I wanted to do 44,000 pounds. And like, I don't know what you guys think Marine officers make, but like, we're not Elon Musk, right? So, but like my dad taught me to be prudent. I had some equity in my house. And so interest rates dropped. I was like, hey, I'm going to refi.
Yep.
And so I refi, get some cash. And I was like, okay. At the time, my major thought was, I don't know what the gyms will do, but I know that if gyms close, people need equipment. And so kind of my thought was, hedge it that way. Let me speak to the average consumer in their garage And then if people want to come back from coaching, we're here. And so, I refied my house, took some money, and I remember doing the first 44,000 pounds of plates. And at the time, it was a 8-week turn. And so I said, okay. And they said, well, you're a new client of ours, so it's cash with order. And you got to remember, like, this foundry, I think it's been around since like 1946. Like, they don't deal with Grant Broggi.
Yeah.
They don't deal with strength codes, right? They like deal with like big companies. And so I said, okay. And so it's, whatever it was, 50, 60K to get the first run of plates going. And they say 8-week turn. And so now I'm pre-ordering, right? So I'm like, hey, I need capital if I'm going to keep this going. And we're trying to get to market. And so we put it there and the plates come and we start shipping. And here's a whole nother thing I didn't understand, right? Like, what kind of box do you use? How much is corrugate?
Yeah.
Like, do you ship 245s in the same box? Do you ship them in separate boxes? And guess what my test subject is? 44,000 pounds of plate. It's not like I was like, hey, let me get 12 45s and like see how my orders go.
Yeah.
So, we ship and we were strapping things together. And I mean, basically what we found on the first run was we ship west of the, Mason-Dixon line. Everything's okay. We ship east of it. Hey, you got a percentage of a chance that people are going to have issues. And not to mention like shipping cost, right? So I'm already a premium product and I don't know how much you guys have followed this. And I know you guys ship a lot of merchandise. But if you deal with USPS, it's just going to take forever.
Yep.
But if you deal with UPS and FedEx, that they're totally overwhelmed.
Yep.
And so I'm trying to negotiate prices with UPS and FedEx. I was using both at the time. And it just got a little crazy. And so I started looking for, okay, how do I reduce cost in shipping? How do I reduce cost in manufacturing? And everything came down to volume. And it just came down like, hey, Grant, how much risk do you guys want to take? Like, how much do you want to be all in? And so there was a point there where I just said, yeah, like I'm betting the house. And what it came down to me was, and again, if gym members ever listen to this, it's not a knock on any single one. I totally understand everyone that quit. Like, there's zero blame, but it just came down to, as I was watching basically two facets of business going on, the in-person gym business was on a rapid decline. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I need to put this on the other side.
So with all that, did you ever have the worry like, okay, you're not Rogue Fitness, so you don't have the marketing budget that Rogue Fitness does. Did you ever have like the worry that I'll have all these plates, but just the word won't be able to get out? Like I won't be able to, enough customers won't be able to find me. Was that ever a concern?
Yeah, no, a huge concern. I mean, I think around this time we started making barbells, and it just came down to, so like one of the things we benefited from was demand, right? Like Rogue couldn't keep up. I love Rogue. I've loved Rogue since I found them. Like to this day, love all their products. In my gyms, everything's Rogue. Haven't even converted it because I haven't had the supply to do so. But yeah, I wondered, people would call me, friends of mine. I won't name them, but they know them, and they'd say, "Do you really think you're going to go against Rogue Fitness?" But I viewed it differently. I didn't actually think I was trying to do that, and I still don't. It was, hey, I care about people getting strong, and there's a demand for this, and there's a lot of American businesses hurting, and if we make something here, it'll matter. But yeah, no, I did worry will the demand be there? And what we've seen to today, to answer the previous question, is steel prices shot up in December 30%. 30%, boom, through the roof, steel. And we're talking steel. Remember, there's steel and there's iron. Iron comes from ore. Ore reflects iron plates. Steel reflects, your squat racks.
Yep.
And it jumped 30%. And I went to do another run of 100 squat racks. And my steel guy came back and said, hey, prices are going up this much. And I yelled and screamed at him about like, hey, why do I have to deal with all those pass-throughs? I've spent this much money there. And he came back to me and was like, yeah, this is a commodity deal. Steel went up.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I guess. By the way, America's been printing lots of money not tied to commodities. Steel went up. And so I was like, I get it. And so, and that's where, though, at scale, to answer your question with Rogue and word of mouth and getting the views is, it's commodities probably affect a larger company a little bit less because they do bigger runs, they have deeper inventories, all of those things. But to answer it for the relevance of this conversation, and I didn't mean to do this, except that I believe in strength training. The greatest thing Rogue did for me was make an E-coded 45, 35, and 25 and stop there. Because when they released a few weeks after mine, so this is the other thing you have to think of. Each plate has a minimum run.
Right.
So like people don't think logistics. Okay, so I'm going to ship out of California. We're getting ready to ship out of Georgia. I'll talk about it in a second. But I ship out of California. The foundry's in Wisconsin. Plates get poured. Every time the foundry decides, hey, we want to run a particular part, they say it's only worth it if we run this many. Okay? There's this many means something different from a 45 than 2.5. So like, I have to buy at a minimum 345s. I have to buy 750 2.5s for them to turn 2.5s on. So then all that stuff gets poured. Now you have like, okay, what kind of pallet does it go in? What kind of box does it come in? What kind of dividers are in between each plate to make sure they don't get damaged? They're going to go from the foundry to the machine shop. The machine shop's going to machine the outer diameter. The inner diameter, they're going to have the chamfer. And then from there, now you're going to have raw iron that got wet through the machining process, has to go to coating but can't rust. So the timing has to be right to get it over to the E-coders. The E-coders run it through. Boom. Once we get the plates here, we have to run it immediately so it doesn't rust. We submerge it in water. We add the dye. We apply electric current. And now it's done and it's ready to go. E-coders don't sit on plates. You can't tell them, hey, send me half of it and just hold that. They don't have the inventory for that. It's got to go, right? And don't forget the tractor trailers, the truck drivers, all these people you have to pay at every step of the way. And now you have a truckload of 44,000 pounds if you're doing a dry van, which means like a semi, 46,000 pounds if you're doing a flatbed with a step up, meaning that the driver can still have some of his own personal belongings, 48,000 pounds if you're going to have a straight flatbed, right? Like there's all these things that like go into, okay, now how much does it cost to ship to California? Now it lands in California. Here's 48,000 pounds on a flatbed. Someone's got to unload it. Now we got to take the 45s, not damage them, put them in boxes, corrugate through the roof. Corrugate, I mean cardboard, because everyone's shipping everything. No one's shopping in person, right? Mm-hmm. Boom, 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 boom. I get it boxed up. I got to print the labels. Guess what? UPS can't send it. You want a brown truck to show up and pick up, I don't know, 50,000 pounds worth of weight? Not going to happen. So what do you have to do? You have to pre-plan a freight truck to come up that's going to take it a supply thing. What does that mean? It means that someone got a notification saying your item is about to be shipped. It got put on a pallet. The pallet stayed until midnight when the UPS truck showed up. The UPS driver picked it up. It was the next day that he actually drove it into the facility in Anaheim and it sat. I'm sure it sat there because they have a lot going on outside of the Strength Co. And it's 2 days by the time someone scans the label and the average consumer gets the notification of like your 45s in Anaheim. And so I say all that to say like, it's a much bigger process than look, I'm a consumer too. I buy stuff all the time. And now I realize like, oh, man, there's a lot happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'll let you guys talk.
So I guess if I had to summarize that, it would be find a foundry, make plates, step 3 profit. Is that how that goes?
It's that easy.
Yes. Immediately.
Okay. That's what I took out of that. I think that's what you wanted to get.
I'm shocked at how simple it all is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's it's a wild ride. And like the other thing is, and I mean, I think that you guys will appreciate this. Think about it. Someone orders a pair of 45s. That's a 90-pound box.
Yeah.
Think about a warehouse worker that can pack that up 500 times.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like these are problems. I was like, oh man, should we ship these as singles? Like, I mean, it's a heavy endeavor, and goes back to what I believe in, is that people need to be stronger. But it's even on my side, we hired basically, we had 0 warehouse last March. Now I have 3 permanent personnel that work in there. And then when like a truck arrives, I have another 10 people that come in to kind of, plus it up to do what we call production, get everything boxed and ready to go. But like, it's weird when it comes down to hiring or like who's going to do that, because like, I don't know.
You got to be able to lift it. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you lift it?
Yeah. Just a small anecdote, when the plates did make it to Western Northeast South Dakota in very, very good condition in the packaging. I did notice that. Everything
great to hear.
Very good.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
And it arrived, and your UPS driver was out of breath, or what?
I missed it when I wasn't there at the time. I would have loved to have seen how that process works though, because and it's funny, and you could probably relate to this better than anyone that we would talk to. When we brought the plates on the podcast last week, it's funny, in the gym, you'll pick off a 45-pound plate off the pin on the rack. You'll just snatch it up, throw it on the bar. Don't even think twice about it. A 45-pound plate when you're in the middle of lifting does not, relatively speaking, feel all that heavy. You just grab it with one hand, throw it on the bar, whip it up there. When you're not lifting, when you're just moving
just
those around,
those
feel 3 times heavier than they do in the gym. Like, just insanely how heavy really a 45-pound plate is when you're thinking about it, not in the context of throwing it on the barbell in a gym.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And so think about, and luckily for us, everyone we've hired has been somewhat connected to the gym.
Right.
Everyone that works for us, whether they're coach or they're in the warehouse, actually works out at the gym. And so we don't like, and that's by design, but I actually can't imagine. So I'll fast forward a little bit. So now we're shipping, we're making moves, we're production's ramping up. And what I realized was like, hey, if you actually want to compete with the big boys, you got to bring shipping costs down. And this is when, I'm going to talk real current times. January 4th, 2021, FedEx and UPS said rates are going up. They can't keep up. And then I don't blame them. And so, since November last year, I've been working to open a fulfillment center on the East Coast, right? Because this has been the problem, has been, hey, the guy in California gets his plates quickly and he gets them, undamaged. But like when the guy in West Palm Beach orders, like not only is it a 6-day transit, but that means that 6 assholes have to pick it up and move it along the way. And they pick up a pair of 45s that are in 2 45-pound boxes strapped together.
Yep.
And they go, oh, whoa, that's heavy. And they toss it. Right. So I said, I got to do East Coast fulfillment. And so now go talk to big fulfillment companies. And I've talked to them all. And when you tell them, they say, okay, like tell us the size of your boxes and the weight. And when you tell them like, oh, it's 18 by 18 by 3 and it weighs 90 pounds, they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking big companies. They're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And so lucky for us, that first founder I talked about earlier that was doing horizontal, we didn't go with them, but they started making kettlebells and dumbbells. Golden's cast iron, they're called. And as time went on, they ran into the same issue that I'm now in. They said, hey, shipping to California is terrible. And the guy, George, is a genius. He said, what we're experiencing. Will you fulfill for us? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And so now he sends us kettlebells and dumbbells. We don't sell them on our site or anything like that, but we just warehouse them, box and ship for him. But he knew that, like, oh, Grant will understand, like, what it means to pick up, I don't know, 250-pound dumbbells, put them in a box and ship them. And so now through some of his contacts, it looks like, knock on wood, knock on coronavirus, who knows what's going to happen in 2021, but it looks like by, early March, we're going to offer shipping from both locations. But think about this, to the guy back at home ordering, it's, so now I have, I finally got it groove. I'm running this 44,000 pounds of plates every month that are coming to California. If I want to ship out of both locations, I got to double that.
Yeah.
Right. I got to say, hey, a truckload's going to Georgia and a truckload's going to California, so that now I can bring the price down to the consumer, which is the goal. But what does that do on the manufacturing side? Think about this. The foundry gets an order that says, hey, 645s, blah, 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 the other plates. The next day they get another order that says 645s, blah, 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 the other plates. They're an efficient company. What are they going to do? They're going to say, oh, we got 2 orders for 1,245s in total. Run them all. So they run them all and they send them to the machining. What's the machine shop say? Why would I run a 10 when I have 1,245s and like take my guys off something they're doing? I'm just going to run these all. And then they say, okay, we have 45,000 pounds here, max load for a tractor trailer. Let's go ahead and send this to paint. And then the foundry calls me, because remember, machining and coating are a subsidiary of the foundry, says, hey, we got 45,000 pounds of 45s ready to go. And I go, that does nothing for me. Right. I need 5 parts, 45, 25, 10, 5, 2.5 to go to Georgia. And I need 5 parts to go the other place. And they go, yeah, but we ran this for efficiency. And I go, great. I'm trying to bring it. And like, so and they're learning too, right? They're learning too is what I'm saying, and I tell my guys over there all the time is, hey, I understand why you did that. But like, I need half of all of these products to go to either side of the company so that my consumer pays less in shipping. And like, if we don't do that, then like all the business you get from the Strength Co goes down. And I understand I'm not General Motors, but they get it, right? Like they're feeling coronavirus like everyone else. And so these are the things when, I laugh. I posted something on Instagram recently about, on my personal, about people asking for discounts. And I, there was a time in my life where I asked for them.
And now you start to think, you motherfucker.
Oh. Now, my favorite thing is when someone on a chat, on an email or something says, do you offer discounts? And I've told everyone that answers customer service, no, we do not. Thank you for your interest in our products.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them, but like, this is going to be a problem. I mean, steel and ore through the roof, surcharges, we get a monthly surcharge from the foundry every time they do iron. And the increases we've seen, I just got February today. It's insane. And, this is going to come down to not only do people want made in USA for some reason, and everyone has a different reason for why they want that, but do you want this product? Because, back to Starting Strength, I'm doing their gyms right now. And so, they're looking to open one in Plano. And I called the owner. I said, are you really going to open this February 15th? And he said, yeah, well, it looks like it. And he goes, why is it such a big deal? I go, well, you're tying up a considerable amount of plates. And if it's not going to be February 15th, I can sell these to consumer. Mm-hmm. And he wrote back and was like, oh, people are starting to realize, if I'm not buying from you, actually, where am I going to get plates right now?
Right,
like, think about it. And there's not many gyms opening right now, but think about if you're a guy that wants to open a gym. Like, I'll tell you right now, I don't put for sale unless I can fulfill within that month, right? So like right now, the last batch we fulfilled was December 15th. And I think on Christmas Day, I said I was back in stock and I put on the website, we'll ship January 18th. So I'm always like, hey, if I can ship within a month, like I'll be happy. But if you're looking to open a gym and buy a considerable amount, like, I don't know where you go.
I don't know how you do that right now.
No,
It doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. What do you think do you think at some point in time what you can supply will catch up with the demand, or what all of you as suppliers can supply will catch up with that? Like, how do you speculate that plays out?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is part of the reason that I'm trying to open in Georgia. And, I thought I knew something about business, owning a gym for a couple of years, and then this year's totally flipped on my head and realized that I know nothing. And at this point, I probably feel like I know a little bit, and now I probably realize that I'll realize in a few months I know nothing.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing I've learned is it's just scale. You have to keep going, and so in order to catch up with supply, what do you want from me, Tanner? I've already put my house on the line. My gyms are on the line.
Right.
What do you want from me, right? And so I say that tongue in cheek, but that's what it comes down to.
Right.
It's who's willing to do that? And it's different for different people. I really, people say to me all the time, because I'm in the industry, Rogue must be making a killing. And I just think, oh my God, I can't imagine the amount of CNC machines, the amount of energy costs, the amount of electricity bills, the new employees, the people that are boxing things wrong, right? These are things that normal people don't do. But I do think, in order to catch up, you got to double down. I mean, my biggest goal has been to have an inventory. And what a great problem to have.
Yeah,
what a great problem to
absolutely.
have.
Yeah.
But that has been my goal. Because I actually think what speaks to someone in 2021 is in stock, ships immediately. And we've seen that with our barbells. Our barbell manufacturer's out of Minnesota. And luckily, I mean, he's been able to keep up. And I've been able to say, you want a bar? You buy it. It ships the same day. And so that's where I want to get with plates. I think we're probably 30 to 45 days from that. But I think supply catches up. But also, man, I had no idea steel was going to jump 30%. When steel jumped 30%, this is recent. It's 10 days ago. Went to order. So basically, I mean, you want to do anything at scale, you got to do in bulk. We went to order 100 squat racks, and we've been ordering 100 squat racks every order for 10 months now. And I deal with a rep there, and the owner wrote me back and said, we got to re-quote this. And I thought, what in the hell? It's just, I don't know what the future brings. I don't know. I think U.S. prices are going to go up first quarter. Grant Broggi's take, worth nothing. I think U.S. prices are going to go up first quarter and then probably come down. I don't know when imports are going to come back on the line. And I don't know what that does long term, right? Because back to, we've talked, things being awesome versus 45 when you're lifting it and working out, and not, and Massenomics. You guys reach a wider, my audience is very specific, people that want to get stronger. You guys reach power lifter, these people, do they care? I don't know. They actually probably want something that's the cheapest. But right now I'm available.
Yep.
And so I don't know when cheaper becomes on the line, what that looks like. And does that coincide when cheaper comes on the line? Does U.S. price of domestic steel and ore also drop? I mean, who am I to say?
Yeah, that's beyond what I know.
Yeah. The only thing I'll know that I really want to talk about, it's kind of off topic, was a couple weeks ago when I sent you guys those hats, and I saw your Instagram today. You don't talk politics, neither do I. When I sent you those hats, it was supposed to be funny, right? It was funny. Make these hats, it'll be funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, these hats aren't funny anymore. They're not funny.
That's
dumb
true.
decision to make the hats. And but I say that to say, if you go back to something that's not funny, steel, iron, whatever, that's how, I posted you guys talking about the hat, and I still thought it was funny.
Yeah.
We're 2 weeks removed. I don't think it's funny anymore.
Right.
Things change very quickly. And it's just interesting. The gym consumer market, I mean, in general, the gym consumer market is someone that says, "Hey, my gym's closed. I want something cheap to work out with," and that's not what I can provide. It's a different thing.
Yeah, I think there's Coop talks about it a lot too, and you don't need, not everyone needs. We don't need a lot of the stuff we have in our gym to get stronger, but I think there's a lot of people like us that, damn it, it is fun to have it. Like, it makes getting stronger more fun, and like really cool plates are part of that to me.
And it's the whole thing of like, just pricing strategy, and unless you absolutely are the very cheapest, then that's not to your advantage. So unless you can say you are the cheapest, it really doesn't do you much to say I'm the second, third, fourth cheapest. Like, at that point, you're not the cheapest anymore. And also selling to, whether you want to say a higher end market or a slightly more upscale market, like it gives you some more freedoms to do things too when you're not competing solely on price. You know?
Right.
But all these things.
I mean, I don't. I've learned them, right? Like, I'm not the guy that's sitting here saying he knows it all, but like, I've learned some things. But no, I've just felt that it's like when I buy things, I want to buy things that are going to last a long time, and like, so that's kind of how we view this. But with all that said, you guys on your end, you got the hats. You baited me to send you 45.
Yeah,
you have them.
So happy that
worked.
I feel worse about it now, actually.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't feel. You shouldn't feel bad. I want to send you the rest of the plates. I just don't have them yet. Yeah. But what did you guys think? Because you're lifters. Like you're building a business. You understand. Like, well, I know you said like, hey, you think they look cool, but like, what did you actually think?
Oh no, we legit. They are. They're the best looking plates in the gym, hands down, and they're the nicest too. Like they feel good, they look good. You can tell that quality and care was put in every step of them.
No, not because you're on the podcast, right? I mean, I think if you listen back last week, I even said the same thing. They are now my favorite plates. Like we have a nice set of Rogue calibrated plates in our gym too.
And those are really nice, but that's also kind of a different product,
right?
Too.
That is a different product.
Different product.
And I aesthetically. I'm saying aesthetically, I love these plates. Like they are exactly what I like. Prior to having your plates, we've got a bunch of old York milled plates in the gym, and I still really like those. But there's just something, these fit that aesthetic, but also in a new product.
Yeah,
and
it's like this is the new America take.
Right.
This is what we can do.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
that's what it feels
like.
That
is what it's like. And
Tanner, I will say, out of when the hats were unveiled, you were a little more nervous. You were a little more worried. And you're in South Dakota. I'm in California. Think how I feel when I was like.
I mean, you could have put the hat on and went to a bar, and people would have people would have tipped their hat to you just so. Like it wouldn't have raised any eyes.
A few people you run into around here might want to punch you, but then a lot of people would want to hug you, and I just don't want to make either of those. Yeah. I don't want to
interact with anyone.
Yeah, I don't want either of you to talk to me.
I didn't want to talk politics at all. I thought it was funny, but if anyone
it is. I do. Yes.
If anyone listening wants to buy 100 red hats that say "Make America Strong Again," I'll happily wholesale them to you. Just give me a call. Give me a call.
The red one in particular is
really making a statement.
Yeah. My wife actually told me I am not to wear that. Wear the red one.
Blue one.
No, the blue one. The blue one. I think you can get away a lot more with the blue one. It just makes a slightly different statement. Yeah,
a little softer.
I do also just really like that hat, like we talked about. Whether what's embroidered on it or not, that Made in America hat is cool.
So I love you guys' line of stuff, and what's interesting, because I think Tanner talked about this on your podcast, like you can't find a hat made in the USA, and I was looking. We kind of developed, like you talked about, hey, this is a brand made in USA. And so all our t-shirts, everything is. And that doesn't matter to some folks, and that's fine. But for us, I was like, I want to do it. And when I looked at hat companies, it was like, oh, you want a made in USA hat? It's 188 hats, and it costs this much. And I was like, what? And so, but it is a quality hat. It's nice. And so I have some red hats that, don't say America Make America Strong Again. And we have a new patch that's going to go on them that will be sellable to anyone. But I hope we make a Massenomics hat that says, that's made in America. That could be great.
There we go.
We go.
The Made in America we handle a lot of T-shirts around here. We've seen our fair share of T-shirts and stuff, and the Made in America T-shirts you have are very nice too. I think we both kind of commented on that separately too.
Yeah, we did. We did like the quality on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice. You guys should call me after. We can talk about getting you some because they're actually not just because like, hey, I wanted the tag to say Made in the USA. It's actually like a really nice T-shirt.
It is.
Yeah, they are.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. No, it is for sure.
Yeah. Well, good.
That's awesome.
What else?
We need to play our overrated underrated game. We play that with everyone. So I mean, like I said, I love equipment. We've had Tim Gristle on before. He owns Go Strong Equipment out of Iowa, and with him or you, I could probably ask you
hours. We could keep this going and go.
I gotta put a disclaimer out. I remember messaging him on Instagram when he came out with the J hooks that roll.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I said, and this is fault on Grant. Had no idea what was going on. And I messaged them and said, "Hey, I own 2 gyms, opening to look a third. I'd like to put all these J cups in my gyms. Is there a discount?"
Yeah.
And if there's anything I could do in my life, I'd go back and I'd delete that message.
It's funny how that is.
And he said, "No, there's not. If you want them, we can make them, and they cost this much."
Yeah.
And so good on him. I'm sorry, Tim.
Yeah. Funny how that comes full circle.
Yep. But go ahead, play the game.
Okay. So this is our overrated, underrated game. The basics of it are we have a series of special The Strength Co. Topics specifically for you here. And you can't ride the line in the middle. You got to come up with overrated, underrated. That's the biggest part. Okay.
Fair, yep.
Overrated or underrated? M16 rifle.
It's a weird time to ask that question.
That aside.
Yeah,
that aside.
Well,
underrated.
Yeah.
The M16 sucks.
Yeah. So you said what? Overrated or
I said overrated.
Overrated. Yeah. Okay.
Not into the M16. Current events, maybe it's underrated, but right now, overrated.
Because the is the M16 still the standard issue weapon?
So the Marine Corps it's about 50% transferred. Mostly it's to the M4, which is your AR-15. But like in general. And people get mad at me about this. I'm not a gun nerd. I'm just like a Marine that had stuff issued to me. But I would say
that's what I can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Overrated or underrated Americano coffee drinks?
Ooh. Underrated. Oh, overrated. I like them less. Yeah, I like them less. Overrated. Americano is overrated. You should drink straight espresso.
Okay. And do you sell espresso? Is that right?
Yeah, we have espresso. So, and let me back up because I'm not just promoting what we sell. I was always a drip coffee guy until April of this year.
Did the people at the foundry get you going on it? Is that what?
No. Actually, someone on Twitter, a guy from Italy that like lives 2 blocks from, apparently there's a place called Palazzo dei Broggi. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to send you an espresso maker. A small little espresso maker. I won't nerd out too much, called a Brica." And he's like, you'll love it. And he sent it to me. And to be honest, I felt bad. I said, I guess I need to make coffee this thing. I really just want to make a pot of drip coffee. And so I made it and I filmed it and I posted it on Twitter. And he DM'd me and said, "Grant, they sent you the wrong machine. That's a mocha pot. You need a Brica." And I remember thinking, like, what a pain in the ass. This guy's been so nice. Now I have to send this thing back. So he goes, "Can you please return it?" And he like sends me a screenshot of like some return label to take to UPS. And I went and returned it. And then he sent me like a small espresso maker. It's called a Brica. And now that I've had it, I'm like, I'm espresso all the way. Overrated is an Americano because you don't need to pour hot water on it.
Don't need to water that down.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to water that down. All right, continue.
Overrated or underrated push-ups?
Man, you guys are really hitting home.
That's what we do.
I think overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you live with barbells, push-ups you don't need those things.
Right.
And the Marine in me, like, there's a lot of benefit from putting 40 people online, someone in front leading them, and like seeing mental courage. But overall, like, for the sake of the mission, overrated.
It's fair. Last one, and probably the most controversial. So this one's an important one. It's worth all the marbles. Overrated or underrated 35-pound plates?
Oh, overrated. They're worth it. I don't want to curse because my parents may listen, but if they do, they're f***ing overrated. I mean, dude, it's so stupid. It's so, like, let's forget about the lifter. Let's forget about the lifter. Let's talk about the guy that had to build that. That means another $15,000 in tooling just to make it, when at the same time, he could just run more 10s that could be put on the end of the 25. Like, nothing. I thought 35s were retarded based off like lifting and being a barbell coach and like what Rip taught me. But like, now that I know in the manufacturing progress,
you've
I don't know why
that.
anyone would make those. It's so stupid. 35s, I'm out. Oh man, I'm sorry, mom and dad, but 35s, they're terrible.
I love talking about 35-pound plates.
They do get a reaction out of people more than you would ever expect.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I like Tanner a little more. His accent's a little stronger.
People say I am, what is it, Beavis or Butthead?
Beavis.
Okay, Beavis. Okay,
Yeah,
I get busted for that a lot, that I sound like one Beavis or Butthead, yeah.
That's okay.
You know, Tanner's from like western northeast South Dakota. I'm from northeast South Dakota, so
That's
there is
true.
that dialect difference.
That's
there.
true. Yeah, you are more northeast, but by birth, that's true. That's
the Northeast is more aggressive.
Yeah. Where at in Minnesota are they making the barbells?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Because we're not far from Minnesota.
Wow. Hang on. I want to say, if I said Grand Prairie, would that be possible?
Probably.
Hang on. Let me tell you, I'm looking, and this is bad that I don't know.
If you need any boots on the ground there, ever let us know. It probably might not be too far from us.
I'm looking at all his email handles, and he doesn't have the address.
Okay.
Yes, it's something Prairie. I can tell you that. And so I got their contact from Coop. You know,
Okay.
I wanted to make barbells, and you find like in the manufacturing thing, you know, it's like, so for plates, like, no kidding, the skin is in the game. We've bought the tooling and we're doing it. For barbells, you know, it's a white labeling deal. It's like, hey, someone's already invented the wheel.
Yeah.
And now there's people on the site looking for it. Let me just like cap the strength go on it. And so I messaged Coop about it. He was nice enough to us to, you know, review our first generation squat rack. And he said, hey man, I've reviewed a lot of things. I think these are the best guys. And I called them and I said, hey, let's make 100 barbells. And it's something Prairie, Minnesota, but they're great.
Is it Eden?
Well, there's a few prairies.
Right,
so
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a Prairie, Minnesota. Okay. Like, I'll message you after the show. But what I love about the guy is he always says, yep. So I call him because we're about to start selling a loadable dumbbell. So I messaged him and said, hey, I want to make a loadable dumbbell. And he goes, yep. And I go, yeah. So like, you know, I want it to be this and this and that and that. He goes, yep. And I go, and then he calls me today and he goes, hey, we got a bunch of barbells done early. And I go,
Yep.
Okay, what does that mean? He goes, yep. Do you want him to skip early? And I go, yep. And like every time I talk to him, he goes, yep. And I'm like, I don't know if this is Minnesota or what this is. Maybe it's South Dakota.
I just feel like you're describing people from this area.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I'm describing anyone that's not me. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
Well, good. I feel like you guys have laughed more this podcast than normal, and I'll take that as credit. I feel like you had a good time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's what we do it for. We wouldn't do this if it wasn't fun. No, that's awesome. We one other thing I would mention. We mentioned Coop a few times. I don't know if you've ever talked to Adam at Garage Gym Lab at all too. He also does a really great job. Just something to think about if another resource and that sort of thing. Garage Gym Lab, and we've had him on the show before. Very good guy, knowledgeable guy, and does a really good job. They do some similar things, I would say, but also
send me Adam's address and I'll send him a pair of 45s. Yep.
Yep.
No, but seriously, send me his address. I'll send him a pair of 45s. No, I
Is it okay? I didn't tell you this part. Adam lives with me.
Ahead.
Adam lives with me. So if the address looks the same, don't think twice about that.
No. I still think, man, I respect anybody like you guys, and I was excited you had me on because it's just it takes a certain kind of person. I'm going to be funny right now and I don't mean to, but to say, yep, I'm going to do this, right?
Yep,
like it takes a certain kind of person. And so like anyone that is willing to say that, I'm happy to do stuff like this. Send me his address and I'll send you and him another set of 45s, and you guys will be in a good place.
Yeah. Right
this deal just keeps getting better.
Look at all this iron.
So the other thing one last important thing I was going to ask, if this will come out this next week here, next Monday, if people want to buy plates now, can they?
Yeah, they're in a great spot.
Okay.
If this releases next week, January 18th, my next shipment lands of 88,000 pounds.
Okay.
Everything will be in stock except for 10s, but I built myself some overage there. In every product, we expect like some defaults and stuff, or something defects, something to be wrong. So. Yeah, January 18th, for the first time since we've been selling plates, which is August of last year, we look like we'll have a little inventory and they'll ship immediately. And then February 15th, we'll be shipping again. And by March 15th, we'll be shipping out of both coasts for cheaper shipping rates, because we know some people want a discount.
Well, if you ever want to split the difference on that shipping, Western, Northeast, South Dakota is right in the center of the country.
Maybe you don't need an East Coast, West Coast. You need someone right in the middle.
I mean, my thought is that you guys aren't bought enough in the starting strength, and I don't know if you can put 245s in the box. But if you post some impressive lifting videos, maybe you'll convince me otherwise.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm interested. We should talk about that.
Yeah. Hey, we're always open to everything. This was awesome. I think this is a great show. I mean, I think we got to have you again someday in the future to talk more about this stuff and get a progress report, down the road a little bit.
Yeah, I'd love to talk development. I mean, it's funny. The podcast, I did a podcast last night with the guys at Hazard Ground, and the only reason I plugged them is because they just show veterans, and their usual story is people that have seen very bad things in combat. And I messaged them 6 months ago, and I said, I haven't seen very bad things in combat, but this is what I have seen. And the guys wrote me back and they said, hey, we can schedule you in January. And I remember, this is 6 months ago, being like, January? Really? Am I going to do a podcast with these guys? Whatever. But it was great. It was great because the amount of stuff we were able to talk about was awesome, because things have changed. So, I hope to get on with you guys again. I hope to get you some 25s, 10s, 5s, and 2.5s. I hope for your roommate to get another set of 45. Also, a little disappointed that you have a roommate at your certain age, but that's okay.
Yeah. Got me.
Got him.
One other thing you're an officer.
Tanner, you've said one other thing.
I keep thinking it's just so many good things.
You're just leading people on at this point now.
There's like 13 other things, but are you familiar with the old joke in the military where, no, I'm not an officer, I work for a living?
Yeah, very familiar with that.
Do you take offense to it?
So my time as
I'm not an officer, I work for a living.
Yeah. My time as an officer, I would not have taken offense from that because I do respect the staff NCO and NCO and understand that mentality. My time as a business owner, fuck you. You have no idea what goes into this.
It sounds like you probably we've taken from this that you do work for a living, so you're safe.
Yeah. Turns out I do.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, cool. We appreciate it, Grant. That was very, very good stuff.
And so by the time this is out, you can basically go on and buy these plates. If someone is interested, where can they buy the plates? Where can they find you? All that good stuff.
www.thestrength.co, thestrength.com. All of them lead to us now. You can go click on store, store.thestrength.com works, and everything's there. And what we pride ourselves in is outside of plates, but by the time people listen to this, it should be everything ships the same day. Like you place the order, we print the label and ship it. Got a very passionate staff who I'm very grateful for. And go check it out. www.thestrengthco.com.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thanks, Grant.
Thanks a lot, Grant.
Yeah. Thank you guys. And I hope to come to northeastern, western, southeastern, middle, south, North Dakota and have a beer with you guys.
You're always welcome. Hey, anytime. You name the time.
Wait, close out. And I know that Tanner wants to have the last word, but close out question. Did the state really give you a new sign that says "Home of the Massenomics Podcast"?
Be
honest.
There's certain things we can't necessarily disclose on the podcast.
Okay. I get it. You work for the government. You can't tell everything. You can't. Yeah, I get it. Okay, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Tommy, what do you give it?
Oh, I think we know.
Cool beans.
It's official.
That is official. Cool beans. That was cool beans.
Yeah, that was. And that could have easily have gone on much longer, but I'm just seeing we're going to hit the 2-hour mark for probably the first time in our lives.
I'm questioning when we have hit 2 hours. I don't know if we never have, but it's certainly rare. Maybe we never have. You might probably know better than me.
Ooh, I remember there was a time we're at an hour and 40 and we kept going. And we're like, an hour 48. But I don't know if we've hit 2. I really don't think we have.
Well, should we hurry up really, really fast? So
shut it down.
Don't hit 2. We better shout out today's sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. If you're going to get some new Strength Co plates, you're going to want some Ground Lock Deadlift Slippers to deadlift in. So
you are. You want to use those plates to their full advantage.
That's exactly right. Today's episode is also brought to you by SPUD Inc. The goal of SPUD Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. We've got a discount code there too. It's MASS, M-A-S-S, in all caps, and that'll save you 5% off any training or nutrition membership for the life of your membership at hybridperformancemethod.com. This episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars.
And wouldn't that pair great with a pair of Strength Co plates?
We're gonna make that mashup happen soon at
spaghetti and meatball.
Gym, and I could just even tell before they're together that it's already a beautiful, beautiful pairing. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records, or Massenomics records, have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more, visit Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars at texaspowerbars.com. Our sale went really good this last week, too.
We didn't touch on that, but like we said, those bench shorts did not last long at all.
Nope, they're gone, 100% gone.
Yeah.
They're out of here.
Basically, all of them were gone within like 5 hours, pretty much.
Yep. 100 of them, every one with the official certificate of authenticity.
Yep. They're going up in
actually,
trophy
most
cases.
people have. I think almost every pair is out to people by now. So
USPS is actually going a lot faster now.
I think it's weird. There's like almost anomalies. I think it's maybe just certain regions of the countries where things are issues still, but
like our Midwest region seems like people are getting stuff pretty fast.
Some international stuff is still crazy, and some stuff to Canada where people have been like, it's taken like a month, but then other stuff
we
like
send 5 days, and they get it, or within a couple days even.
So it is kind of random about that, but overall, these, I always get baffled. I'm like, you got that and posted it already? I'm pretty sure I just set that in the...
I saw some people posting this week. I'm like, how did they get that so soon?
We, Grant says they guarantee same day. I don't know that we guarantee same day, but we do guarantee it gets shipped up and packed out pretty quick, mostly because I personally can't stand the anxiety of seeing a whole bunch of orders that have to be packed. I'm just like, no, I can't rest. I can't sleep well until I know that we're back to square one, or back to starting point.
Yeah, that's just not the way it works around here, Tanner.
Yeah.
And Tanner, you know what I'm doing right now? I'm recording another one of those videos that I can just look at in the future. When I'm just sitting around bored.
I don't know what to do with my hands now.
And all of a sudden we're 2 hours in and Tanner doesn't know what to do again.
Yeah. Phone camera comes out and I just freeze.
He's locked up, people.
Okay. No, that was a great episode. We appreciate Grant having him on. And hey, if we got another set of 45s on, we'll have Grant on every week.
I was going to say, he doesn't know this, but he's booked up.
I'm going to text him tomorrow and be like, hey, could we want to come on again?
By popular demand, people are demanding you come back on. So
and they're demanding you just send us like just crates and crates.
And I have a guy that could use some plates too.
Yeah, if he sends Adam a pair of plates, Adam is going to owe us pretty big there. Yeah.
So it's just
Adam has been. Garage Gym Lab? Adam has been repping quite a bit of Massenomics stuff. So
this is just an elaborate play to get a lot of people to owe us, though, right?
Yeah. So I want to people to feel like they're indebted to us.
Yeah, because you can be like, well, remember that one time though.
We'll pull the card at the most inopportune time for them.
For everyone.
Yeah. No, you're wearing the Lift Hard, Live Easy shirt. Mm-hmm. I'm wearing the classic OG shirt. You can find everything else that we sell on the site. We did sell out of the Blue Bench heavy shorts, but lift shorts are still in stock.
Yeah.
Sold a pile of lift shorts still, but luckily we had our largest inventory we've ever had. So those still are available in all sizes, small through 2XL. We got a pretty good supply of mostly everything right now.
Yeah, new Silly Pints.
Yeah, the new Silly Pints
sold pretty good, but we also got a large
stock
of those, so we still have some of those. And then the Sumo Pulse shirt, we still got some of those around.
Yep.
I don't even remember what else do we even have, Tanner. I think that was probably everything, huh?
I'm also conscious of saying yep, or more self-conscious of saying
it's a Midwest thing. We have to say yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's Yeppers. Did you ever respond to someone yeppers?
No, because I'm not a psycho.
Yep. I respond to that to my wife sometimes just because I know it infuriates her. Yeah. She always goes, don't say yeppers.
And you said, okie dokie.
Yeah. Okay. That's about it.
That was it, huh? That's all it took?
That's all we got to do.
All right. You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.